Hello, 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 hello. I think I'm live now. Let me just check. Check everything's moving and working. Oh yeah, I can see myself moving. Hello, Jan, can you hear me? Do I need to put my mic on? Let me plug it in. In the screen. Brilliant. Oh, hello everybody. Hi Shell, hi Lynn, hi Catherine. Good to see you guys. Loud and clear, that's good. Thank you, sweetheart. Right, let me get that lead out of the way. Right. So today I've got the iPad. Hello Margaret, hello Jane. I've got the iPad doing the filming and I'm watching the screen on my phone, which is actually quite good. It's better than, hello Celia, it's better than doing it on my laptop, but I have got a rubbish laptop. So how is everybody? Are you all okay? I don't know if I'm moving. Let me check things are happening on the screen. Oh yes, I can see my hands now. Try and get that in the middle. Whoops, a daisy. Got to let you into a little secret. Tony ran into me about 10 to 3 and he said, "Aren't you doing a live today?" And I went, "Ah, yes." So yeah, it was a bit of a panic. And then I had a phone call just as I was about to start. So here I am now. So I nearly forgot you all. How bad of me. I put it all on the calendar and everything. But there you go, eh? So, right. Today's live, or this Tuesday's live, is all about Steampunk Goggles, which we brought out some time ago, actually, a few years ago. It was one of my early designs. And hi Lynn, good to see you. They've always sort of been one of these things that people like to buy every now and then. I think steampunk sort of comes and goes in its popularity. And these are so easy to put together, but I just thought I'd remind everybody that we do them, really. Let me just, hello Ray, let me just show you what you get. You get all these pieces and you do actually get some instructions on how to put it all together. So really, really simple. So you get, I'll run through all the parts for you. You get these two bits which sit on there like that, and then you build it up in layers. Hi Lois. Right, you build it up in layers. So you have a couple of pieces like this, and then you build it up. So you've got, let me just count these out. You've got 6 of these rings, and you've got 2 of these ones, 4 of those ones look like that, and then you've got those 2, and then you get these bits which create this bit. This one's this has been knocking about for years. It's gone to shows, it's been picked up, it's been dropped, it's been all sorts, so it's a little bit worse for wear, but it's still there. It's still in one piece. My phone's just fallen over. Let's pick that up. So obviously with steampunk you can do, well, you don't have to do it steampunky. You can do any kind of colour. This one I've gone with just the browns and the golds, and I've used some embossing enamels on these bits, which It's actually quite nice. On this bit here, I've used some of the, I think it was Steampunk did them a while ago. They're like gilding flakes, and you can just add them in. So, and it's surprising how solid it makes the grey board, to be honest. So you've got options when you put these together. Obviously this would be your base, so you would glue your two bases together like this. Hi Monique, hi Sandra. You would glue these two bits together like this, but then you have options with these. So for instance, you could do the simple way, which is to line up those two on there and line up those two on there, and then you can just build up your circles on each side like that. So you would glue them together like that, and then you can pop those on the top like that. So that's the most straightforward way, which is how I've done these ones. But of course there's nothing to stop you to do them a little bit more unusual. So you might do one of those on that side and put 3 on there, and then you could really build this side up and not have that. So you've got uneven goggles. I mean, you don't have to do it so they're even, okay? Or you can put on the round bits first like that, and then you put these bits on the top like that, and then you can add those bits. You don't even have to line these up. You can have them so they look more like flowers like that. So there's lots and lots and lots of different ways that you can actually layer all these up. And then what we do is we bend these round, and we can then attach these onto there. And once you've painted this grey board, this is 800 microns. Once you've painted this and it's dried, if you put a coat of matte varnish on it, it really does go solid, very, very solid indeed. So although it seems like it's flimsy, it's not at all, okay? I find a really easy way to decorate the pieces as well is to glue it all together before you actually paint it. You might want to leave certain elements till afterwards. So for instance, this bit, because I've done that with embossing, you might want to leave that until afterwards. Do your embossing and then glue it on the top. That's fine. But I think certainly if you're going to do a lot of things the same colour, then glue your bits together first before you paint them, okay? And that just makes it all a lot easier. So what I'll do is I will glue it together, and then you'll be able to see how it looks. Let me just get some glue. So when you're gluing grey board, you want a fairly decent PVA glue. I use the Sea White's wood glue, which we sell in the shop actually, which is very strong. That's pretty good. But even if you use the Creative Expressions glue, I'm trying to think what it is, the Cosmic Shimmer one, anything like that, that's just fine. So shall I use a brush for a change rather than my fingers? Why not? I did have some clean brushes here somewhere. So when you glue, hi Maxine, when you glue these pieces together, you just want to put a reasonable generous amount of glue on. You definitely want to use something that dries clear like that. And then we'll do around here. Like that. And then you do literally just stick those together, line them up as best you can, And if you've got a decent glue, it's not going to take long to set, and you can go on to the next phase. Oh, hi, Chris. Yeah, I must admit, if you'd heard me right at the beginning, you'd have found out that I nearly forgot. Well, I did forget, actually, about coming in here. It was Tony that reminded me, bless him. Because I'm absolutely rubbish. I really should try and remember these things. I have rather a lot going on at the moment with Hochanda next week. So, you see that's already, now that's glued. And that's because the board is 2.25 millimeters thick. Just putting that together, you've got nearly 5 mil of board there, which is lovely and tough. It will take all sorts of treatments and things. So you just glue those together like that. And then again, with these, you can just glue these together really easily. So I'll just pop a bit of glue on there. Pop those together like that. That's it. Hi Karen, good to see you. So you just glue those together like that, you see, and then now if you want to, you could glue those onto there, but I think, you know, if you keep the elements separate, then you can just decorate in different ways. Chris, yes, this is the one I'm using, is the Sea White's PVA wood glue that we sell in the shop, but any decent PVA is absolutely fine. I think it's Cosmic Shimmer or the Anita's Red PVA. I've used that before, and that's fine. You just don't want to use anything too wishy-washy, otherwise it just doesn't stick and you get frustrated. So we can glue those together like that. And of course the other thing to remember, which I say many times on the TV when I go on there, is our 2.25 board will run through an embossing folder. Check your mats and layers that you use, your boards, what are they called? You know, the things that you run them through on. Check you've got the right depth. You don't want to be forcing it through your machine. But you could, like these bits that sit on the top here, you could run them through an embossing folder to give them another bit of texture, which is really good. Just remember though, anything that you do run through an embossing folder, essentially it flattens the board, so it squishes it, which makes it very slightly bigger than its original size. So just bear that in mind. If you were doing something like jigsaw pieces and you want them all to go back together again, you might find by running them through an embossing folder is going to distort them a little bit. But it's certainly very useful for your standard little embellishments and things. Right, and then I'm just going to glue together these rings. See, this is, I mean, it's so quick, it doesn't take long at all to get these elements together. And if you do this before you decorate, you're not painting unnecessary surfaces because you're not going to see a lot of it. So that's worth bearing in mind. I've just lost my screen on my phone. Let me just go back in. I hope I haven't lost you. Let's just see. No, I think we're all right. I think I'm still there. Yeah. Right, so that's that. And then we'll just put this one on. Like that. So you can see already it's already taking shape really quickly, not taking long at all to put this together. So just pop those together like that. Now when it comes to painting grey board, any decent opaque paint you can paint directly onto the grey board. You don't need to pre-gesso. If you're using something that's a little bit more translucent, it's fine, but you'll get a kind of more of a vintage look about it. It won't be so bright, which actually in itself can be quite a nice look. So bear that in mind. And also bear in mind that some paints, certainly like metallics and that, sometimes will look better directly on the grey board than they will going over gesso. So if you've got any odd bits of grey board floating around, it's good practice just to have a little play. Just for a blatant plug, we do bags of offcuts. They're decent shaped offcuts. They're not just bits we've swept up off the floor. And you can do things with them. They're very cheap and they're great for just practicing little techniques without having to use some of your more expensive substrates. So that's always worth knowing. Right, so we've now got these in 3 parts now, like this. So we can just paint these how we want to. I'm not going to go too mad with everything because obviously this is really more about showing you how it goes together as opposed to your painting techniques, because I think you all know quite a bit about how to get really good paint techniques as well now. And you need to bear in mind, of course, that when you glue these bits together, you're not going to see very much of it like this. Are the offcuts like those you let us? Yes, Chris, they're decent. They're decent shapes. It's like if we do a frame or something, we throw all the decent sized and decent shaped pieces into a box. It might be the innards of the cubbies or the innards of a frame or something like that, or the innards of something that's got a circle, and they're really, I mean, they're no good to us. So we throw them in a box and then we just bag them up and sell them as bags of offcuts. I think we actually put a weight on there, but we always go over the weight. It's always more than we advertise. And they're just worth having. They're just worth having there just to grab, just to, if you want to just have a little practice with something, you can sort of say to yourself, I'll grab one of those and have a play. Right. So as you can see, because you haven't got a lot of this showing, you don't want to sort of spend ages painting all of this because you're just going to cover a lot of it up when you stick it together. So I think what I'm going to do, because I'm going to paint all of this part in gold, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stick those two together, and then that way I won't end up putting on more paint than I need to. So I'll very quickly, with my finger rather than a brush, I'll very quickly put a little bit of glue on here and I will stick that, so that's, you line up the middles, so the middles, because it doesn't quite reach all to the outside, like that. And then I'm very, very quickly just going to put some gold paint straight on to the board. Okay, this is the Deco Art Fluid Acrylics Metallic. It's a very good paint, and you see you can just paint that straight on, and it only needs the one coat, which is, and on the inside as well. I'll see if I can show you a bit closer. It just really covers the board well. Highly recommend this paint. So that's that, and then we'll just pop a bit of paint around the outside. and you can see all the areas now where you really don't want to be putting any paint. It's all underneath. So this is why it's sometimes better to put your bits together. And not only that, it kind of fills up. If you've got any gaps where you've kind of glued it together, it kind of fills those in. Excuse my stomach rumbling if you can hear it. I've had lunch. I don't know why it's doing that. Yes, I have still got deco art, Chris. There doesn't seem to be so much coming over from the States at the minute. I know that deco art were in a lengthy close down because of the COVID situation over there. So I don't think they've been manufacturing quite as much. Certainly our distributor isn't carrying as much of it as they were, but we can still get hold of it, and I've still got quite a lot in stock, and I have recently ordered. So but I think this is the problem. It's I was chatting yesterday in a little class I was doing, and I've been trying to buy a new laptop, and I had one in mind that I wanted, and went to the shop to buy it, and basically they hardly had any stock of anything in there. And then somebody said to me it's because of where everybody decided to start working from home. There was like a rush to get all the equipment, and with everything being on lockdown worldwide, it just means the manufacturing isn't being done to replenish the stock. So it is quite difficult to get hold of some things at the minute, which is frustrating when you need a new laptop. Okay, so I very quickly, see how quick it is to paint that. What I am going to do on the back is I'm not going to paint over all of it. I'm just going to touch in the edges here because I know they're going to show. And in fact, they're not going to actually, because they're going to glue on there. So I won't do that. I won't do that. If you were putting those bits on there, then you would need to touch those in. Oh, you're looking for a new iPad. Do you know what, Chris? I was going to go and get a new iPad because we've already got one, and Tony was using it a lot more during lockdown, and it was a bit frustrating because we were kind of having to share it. So we said, oh, well, as soon as the shop's open again, we'll go and get one. But he's not been looking at it quite so much now, so I've kind of got it back. Right, so I shall pop that on there. But I haven't been, we've got a big Apple store in Norwich, which is our closest city. And I haven't been there since it's all opened up. I'm kind of still in lockdown mode. Don't go out very much. Okay, so I've glued that onto there. So again, I'm just going to whack a little bit of gold paint on this. As I say, I'm not going to be too elaborate with this because you don't want to just sit and watch me painting the same colour over and over again. Bikes, are they, Lynn? Bikes are hard to come by. You see, this is the thing, isn't it? You know, I think where they're manufactured, you know, abroad or even in the UK, with everything that's been on close down, it's taking a lot of time to just replenish all the stock everywhere. You always seem to be able to get stuff on Amazon though. Well, apart from the laptop that I want. I think Amazon are doing quite well at the minute. I think somebody put up a video about the CEO of Amazon and how they measured his wealth in rice grains, and it was immense. But hey, if somebody's thought of that something and it's worked, then why not? Okay, so very quickly I have put some paint on there. You can see how good this paint is. Yeah, I don't want to venture out at all at the moment, Chris. I'm quite happy just to stop in, really. We do go out a little bit, but I mean, it's like I went to I think it was Curry's, which is where I went at the weekend, and we had to queue outside and it was raining, and then you've got to put your mask on, and you know, which I get, I understand all that, but it's all just a faff. Next year, Lynn, to replace a specialist bike. My word, that is a long wait. Right, so there we go. There is a couple of gold parts to our Steampunk goggles there, which I'm going to pop on there like that. Okay. But what I'm going to do before I start to put it all together, I'm going to just use a bit of antiquing cream. This is the Deco Art Black antiquing cream. I'll pop a little bit of that on my palette if it'll come out. It's obviously blocked, bear with. Because I didn't, because I forgot that I was coming on today, I haven't pre-prepped anything. Naughty me. Okay, that's cleared it. That's just squirted all over my palette. Never mind, at least it was my palette. Right, I'll grab another brush. That's it. Chris, I did wonder when you said, oh yum, queuing in the rain, and I thought, really? Right, antiquing cream. If none of you know about antiquing cream, which I'm sure a lot of you do, but I'll just explain it to you. Antiquing cream never actually sets, okay? So even when it's dry, you can wipe it back. And the idea of it is so you can age things. So I shall pop this over the top like this. And over there. Like that. And I will leave it just to dry while I do the other one. And then I'll show you how this can make this look a little bit aged. The antiquing cream comes in a variety of colours. So you've got your black, you've got raw umber, you've got white, grey, patina, but the patina one's nice, and a kind of red oxide type colour. Okay, so we've covered that with antiquing cream. So let me pop that in there. I didn't plug my heat gun in, so that's fine. Let me leave that to one side. We'll come back to that. So what I'm going to do on the base, I'm going to dig out some raw umber, which I've got. I should have some down the side of me here. She says. You can tell I was completely unorganised before, or disorganised before I started. Let's have a look what we've got in here. Burnt umber, that will do. So, got a big skin on the top, that's it. So I'll pop some raw umber. This is the premium acrylics. They're medium body paint, and they are great. They're a little bit slower drying than the fluid acrylics, but they're pretty opaque, and they're great. I mean, you can put them straight on the grey board, as you can see. They're great if you want to do paint techniques which require something a little slower drying, or you can get an extender. I'm going to paint it all the brown around the edge. You don't need to do this front bit because you're going to be gluing to it. I haven't practiced any of this. This is completely off the cuff here. So if it looks awful when I finish, my apologies. So yes, the premium acrylics are, again, good paints. Very, very good. They're great for your palette knife techniques, and they're also really good to use with jelly plates. So that's worth bearing in mind. We have a good stock of those as well. So while I'm just doing this, just to remind you all, Hochanda shows the next Monday at 7 AM, my word, and 11 AM. I've got to be at Hochanda at 6 in the morning. That means I've got to leave here at 4. And we've got the most amazing samples. We really have. I've put up a couple of slideshows, but you need to see them. They're just stunning. Okay, so that's that one. In fact, I will paint the back of that because we're going to see that. So yes, Chris, it's very early. To be honest, I don't actually mind. I'm an early person. I tend to sort of be more on the ball in the mornings than I am in the afternoons, as you can tell, because I was completely forgot to do this. So yeah, come 1 o'clock, that's it. Brain shuts down. Okay. So again, you can see that these paints do have a good coverage. Oh, Coral, yeah, that sample book yesterday. That's Fiona's book. It is stunning, absolutely stunning. Yes, when I opened it and looked at it, I just, my jaw dropped. Right, so that's that. Okay, let me clean that. Oh, you drag your heels in the morning, Karen, do you? Yeah, I know. I've always been a morning person, I have to say. Right, I'm just going to grab a bit of kitchen roll. And I did want to spritz some water on it, but I haven't got my spritzer. I took everything downstairs at the weekend to do a class, and I've brought it all up. Let me go and get it. I won't be a tick. Oh, I've got my heat gun there as well. That'll be handy. Right, so I found my heat gun while I was over there, and we can go back to these this antiquing cream. Right, plug that in. Let's just check it's working. Yeah, so I'll dry these off. And as I say, the antiquing cream never actually sets. So, you know, you could wipe all this back off if you wanted to. Once you've got the desired look, it's a good idea to just seal them with a varnish. But you have to be quite careful because the liquid in the varnish will make the antiquing cream move. Let me just get rid of that bit of paint while I'm there. That's it. Okay. And then to wipe them back, you can use a baby wipe, but I find that they are sometimes a little bit on the wet side. So I tend to just spritz a bit of water onto a kitchen roll, and then you can just gently wipe back the antiquing cream, and this gives this an aged finish. As you can see, I'll try and hold that up so you can see how that looks. And then I'll do the same with this one. Yes, Chris, you can use a spray varnish. Absolutely, you can. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, don't use it in an enclosed area. Breathe in all the fumes. I'll tell you what, actually, Chris, it is great, this antiquing cream. If you have something that's a bit more textured than this, it really does sit in there and make it look really aged. It's very, very good. So, don't need to worry too much about the front because I'm going to be putting these over the top, so you won't see the front that much. So, you know, it almost looks kind of tarnished brassy now, which I think is a great look for something like this. Get a little bit out of there. A bit more spray. Like that. So that's those. I'll pop that in the bin. You could do the same with the brown as well. So what I'll do is I'll just put a little bit over the middle here. So I'll get my brush. It was that one I was using for the antiquing cream. And another bit of kitchen roll. Move that out of the way. So we can put a bit of that on there and around there. Yeah, I'm with you there actually, Karen. I've found that waxes do have a tendency to dry out a bit. Because you just don't use that much of them. I mean, they have really, really good uses. I've seen waxes look absolutely amazing on projects. So you kind of feel like you need to have them, but I do get what you're saying there. They do dry out. Some of them I think you can revitalise. One of the one make which I actually like, although I'm not sure how it's made, is the paper artsy ones. I'm trying to think what they're called now. But they're quite creamy. They're quite nice. But I don't know how they're made because I think you have to clean stuff in turps. I'm not sure. I don't know enough about them to be able to say. So I will put some on there. Like that. So I'm going to leave that to one side and let that dry off. And then we've got these bits. Not sure what I'm going to do with these really. What I could do is paint them and then put treasure gold. That's the one. I shall grab some embossing powder. Let's see what I've got here. I've probably got something quite chunky. I've got some of these flakes here. I can show you these. actually. The fragments, that's what they're called. Those. Don't know if you've ever seen them before. I'll use those a little bit. And then I'll try and find an embossing enamel. Well, not enamel rather than a powder, to be honest. Let's do a bit of the black. See how that happens. How that comes out. Right. And now dry brushing with paint is great, Karen. Yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. These are these flakes. Look, I don't know if you've seen these before. And they're really good. This is the tea stained fragments. I love these. So what I'll do is I will put a bit of brown paint on the front of these. This is the burnt umber again. Like that. Treasure gold and treasure silver. Yeah, that's it. I have got a few of them. In fact, I haven't dug them out for ages. I must do that and use them again. It's funny, isn't it, how you buy stuff and then it just sits in the cupboard for ages and ages. Okay, so got a bit of brown on there. Oh, Sandra, you got a few pots of fragments unused. Yeah, again, I mean, you probably see a demo, don't you? And you think, oh, that's great. So you go and buy a pot and then you forget what happened in the demo. I've done it a lot myself. So let me just dry those off quickly. Right, so we'll go back to this one for a second, and I will just remove some of this antiquing cream. So just take a little bit of that off just to give that aged finish. And on there. Like that. But what we can do as well, you're not going to see the aging, but what we can do is we can use some of these fragments so you can see what you do with them. So I need a little glue brush. Oh, you've got gold fragments, Celia. I know, it's just the thing, isn't it? I mean, I've got loads of these things. So I'm going to put a bit of glue on there. I know I've done the antiquing cream, but this is just showing you something else that you can do. And then I'm going to pick up some of these fragments. And I'm just going to pop those on there. Like that. And we'll let that dry. and then you'll be able to see the effect. I'm not sure how well you can see it in this light. Don't know how well that shows up. I'll try and do it so you can see how that looks. Oh, you tried sprinkling them into embossing powder. Yeah, I mean, there's different ways, isn't there? I think Steampendos would sort of say, oh, you can do it like this and do it like that. I've always just glued them on. I've just found it a bit easier, really. And then if you want to seal them on, I think if you get a little bit of Versamark, we'll see how this works. You probably need to let them dry, which I haven't done, so this might just lift them all off again, but let's just see. I'll put a little bit of Versamark on there. Yeah, it's lifted a few off, but there's still quite a lot on there. And then I'll grab some clear. Let me grab a bit of clear embossing powder, which I've got in here. Whoops, crash. And I need a piece of paper. That'll do. And then we can put a little bit of embossing enamel over the top, clear, like that. And then we'll heat that, and that will seal them in. Let's get that out of the way. Yeah, this is it, Coral, isn't it? I mean, we just have so much stuff that we just don't use. It's, you know, you see it being demoed and you see it, like videos of it, and you think, oh, that's brilliant. I mean, the good thing about the embossing enamels is you can just heat them a little bit and you get it all nice and bubbly, or you can do 2 or 3 layers and you can get it really smooth. That one I've kind of left it a bit bubbly. I don't know how well you can see that. You know, and it's just a different effect completely there, which I think is pretty good. So we'll leave that like that. Let me just pop that back on the top. Okay, so right, we're getting along here. We know that they're going to go on there like that. So we just want to do something with these. So I think actually now that I've got the embossing enamel out, I'm just going to go over with a bit of embossing enamel. I did get some black out, didn't I? Let me try a little bit of black. I don't know what this is going to turn out like. Where's my Versamark gone? There it is. What I'm going to do though is I'm just going to put it round the edge, not over the whole lot. As I say, this might end up really pants, but we'll see. And then sprinkle some of that on. Like that. Okay. Move that out the way and heat that up. My poor old heat gun doesn't know whether to blast out fast or slow at the minute. I think I need one. It is a Timmy one, yes, Coral, but I've had it a long time. And you can see I I don't look after it. It's covered in paint and spray and okay, that's pretty good. I won't touch that too much just at the minute. I'll show you that in a minute. Yeah, it is very quiet. It's great for demos, Karen. It really is. And also, because it doesn't blast out really hard, it's quite good for your embossing enamels and things, because it doesn't just blow all the powder everywhere. Okay, so we shall put a bit of this on there. Like that. Get rid of that. Well, I never expected to use embossing enamels today, but there you go. Didn't know what I was going to be doing, to be honest. Right, it's not doing my mat any good, this. Keep heating it up. Just seeing if I've got something I'll put it on. Got a board. Try it on a bit of board. Coral, yeah, I know. I do take it to the Hoshanda and I have to say every single time that it's not working very well. One day it'll probably just go bang and that'll be it. Okay, right. I'll just wipe my hands a bit because they're absolutely covered at the moment. Oh, I have got some baby wipes to hand. That's handy. Okay. So I think I'm going to leave those bits like that. A late birthday present. Yes, Celia, I should really, shouldn't I? I should just make the effort and go and get one. It wouldn't hurt, would it? Right, let me pop the lid back on that because knowing me, I'll knock it over. So this is what that looks like with some embossing enamel around the outside. You can just heat it a little bit so you get this pitted look, which I think is quite good when you're doing something like this. Or if you heat it a little bit more, you can see it goes smoother around the edges. You can't do that so much with the embossing powders, but you can with the enamels. So it's just nice to be able to do different things with the enamels actually. And you could on top of this, because it's pitted like this, you could add a little bit of your gilding wax or whatever just to pick up the texture. So that's, you know, that's something else you can do with your embossing enamels. So, and then that it doesn't really go colour wise, but never mind. That's going to go on there like that. So I will glue those together shortly. What I need to do now is show you how to do these bits. It's much easier if you paint them before you do anything with them, because the paint will soften them. Let me just grab a palette out. Because when the grey board is completely dry, when you try to bend it, it will crease a little bit. Whereas if you paint it and then bend it while it's a little bit sort of dampish, you get a smoother fold. So let me grab my paint, because I need a bit more paint. I'm going to go with the brown again. Pop a bit more on my palette, like that, and I'll get a big brush, like that. As usual, my workspace started off big and it's getting smaller and smaller. And I'm going to put a a good layer of paint on here. Even though it's only 800 board, so it's less than 1mm thick, it's still, you know, fairly rigid. It will take the paint. You don't want to absolutely soak it because it, you know, it could tear. So that's one. I'll pop a bit of paint on the other one. You know, and as you can see, I'm not being precious about this. You don't want to have big, thick streaks of paint on it, really. When you're painting board, you're better off putting a thinner coat on, and if necessary, doing a second coat if you need to. That way, you don't get, you know, too many streaks and things. It's a nice even coverage, and use a decent big brush. Okay, so that's that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe that. Before I do the other side. Like that. Bin. Right, we'll flip that over like that and do the other side. That one. That's okay, pop that over there. I'll just give that a quick squidge. Flip that over. We'll do this side. That's it, like that. Okay, so I will just clean that up a little bit. Baby wipe. Like that. And this one should, it's dryish, okay, and you'll find that you'll be able to manipulate this and gradually bend it. Which it will bend a lot better than if it was completely dry. Now you have a little tab here, and that has to join up with that bit there. Okay. So that's what will happen there. Now, ideally, you would want to get it in this position, peg it, and then leave the whole thing to dry properly, because gluing it now it may be a little bit volatile. So if you were doing this at home, You obviously manipulate it while the board is still a bit damp. Get it to the shape you want, then leave it to dry and then glue it. Now I will try and glue it and see how it goes. What happens is these turn in like this. So we can go around and turn those in. Like that. Okay. So I will try and glue it. And I'll stick a couple of clips on it and hopefully it will dry. So let's pop a bit of glue there. Like that. And then match that up like that. And I've got a couple of clips. So let me just turn that one around. Pop that on there. And that one on there. And I will leave that while I just do some other bits, and hopefully that will dry off a bit more. And then you do the same with this one. Just gently manipulate it round while it's wet or damp. That's how that will go, like that. But then we need to just turn these bits in. Okay, so I'll pop a little bit of glue on the end there. Put that up to there like that. And just pop a little clip on there. And a little clip on there like that. Okay. So we'll leave those for a minute. Going back to this bit, we've now got these 3 pieces, or these 6 pieces, which we can glue all this together now. That's fine. So I'm going to get a glue brush for this one. I think I did have one somewhere. Where's it gone? Oh, there it is. I've probably left it to go hard. Oh no, not too bad. So we're going to put some glue around here. Like that. And then that's going to go on there like that. Then we'll do the same over here. Oh, sorry. That's it. I can leave a message. Forgot to turn my phone down. Okay. That's that. Like that. And then we're going to glue these bits on. Put that on there like that. put that one on there like that. So that's that glued together. Get rid of the messy bits there. Okay, and then we want to put these on. In fact, let's do the other one first, because that was the first one I painted. We'll just make sure it's glued. It's not too bad actually. So that is going to go on. I don't know if you can see very well. Let me try and hold it up for you. That will glue onto there like that. So I'm going to put some glue on and hopefully it will glue, but as I say, because it's still a little bit on the damp side. It may not glue straight away. Let's just have a look. We'll see how we go. Got a bit of loose, that's it. So we'll put that on there like that and push that down. And I'll just hold that in place for a bit. Oh, thanks, Lynn. Thanks for tuning in, lovely. That's it. That's stuck okay. So that's, you can see how that's looking there like that. Whoops. Until I shoved my finger on it and then it moved. Let's stick that down again. That's it, like that. Now what I'm going to do is have a go with the other one. Get a bit of glue on these tabs again. And these the join bit goes to the outside normally, because you have like a wider bit where your eyes are. So the outside of your eyes, which is how they're meant to work, but it doesn't actually matter. You can put them on whichever way you like. Right, so I'm going to hold that down for a second and hopefully that will glue in. Getting there. Oh, I've moved this one, look. Yeah, I think it's a bit damp, but you're going to get the idea. What I'll do is I'll get it glued in properly and then pop a picture on in the group, so you can see the concept of these. It's not glued properly. It is, as I say, because it's a bit damp. So if you're doing them at home, then obviously give your paint a chance to dry. But I'll try and hold it all together, and you can see how that's come out like that. But I'll finish it off properly and post up a picture. So for an impromptu sort of off the cuff, didn't know what products I was going to use. we covered a few bits. So that's it for now for this one. I'll be back again in a couple of weeks to do another one. I think I'm doing, off the top of my head, the new ATC holders that we brought out, oh, maybe a year ago, the one with the kind of bendy front to it. So I will show you how to do one of those next time. Yeah, there you go. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll pop a picture of this up when it's all dry. It might not be today, it might be tomorrow. And yeah, I'll catch you all again soon. Thanks very much then. Bye for now.